I'm Krystle. I've loved dolls my whole life. I collect everything from porcelain to cloth, American Girl, neonates, and real care dolls. But my favorite is to collect and make Reborn dolls. There's Chloe, Grace, Jeremy, Maya, Yuki, Savannah, Zoe, Haley, Landon, Maisie, and Joshua. It isn't easy keeping up with my collection, but it sure is a lot of fun. Hi guys, I'm here with a chat and change video. I am going to be changing Maya out of her fleecy llama sleeper. And it's going to be into one of these outfits. I'm not sure which one yet. I have this Mrs. Puddle Duck or Jemima Puddle Duck, which is from the Peter Rabbit characters. And because Paula, Marilyn, Diana, and I are going to be having a dolly day next week that is going to be Peter Rabbit themed. And I have this outfit, and I think Paula gave it to me last Christmas or the Christmas before. And now this says it is size, it says it's size 3 to 6 months, which would technically be Maisie's size. However, Maisie has this beautiful Peter Rabbit dress that I want her to wear instead of this. And that dress runs big, so it will only fit her. Like, it won't fit my smaller babies. So I just wanted to see if somehow Maya could pull this off. Like, if it would fit her and not be like too huge on her, then maybe she can wear it and I can take her and Maisie to the party. And if I can dig out from the storage bin the boys' Peter Rabbit outfit, I think I have one or two. But even if I could just dig out one boy Peter Rabbit outfit and bring one of the boys, I could bring 3 babies to our doll day, which would be fun. So I'm going to first try this on and see if it fits. If it doesn't, then my backup is this Guess How Much I Love You dress set. So it has this cute little white, is it a onesie or a shirt? Yeah, it's a onesie. It's a white onesie with like these little sleeves. And then there's like embroidered pink and purple flowers on each side. And then it's got this almost like an overall look dress that's a light lavender. And it's got the Guess How Much I Love You bunny, the little brown hair bunny. And it's got like mauve flowers, light pink flowers, and a darker lavender flower. So I thought that would be cute as a backup. So let's see what happens. And while I change her, we're going to chat because I got to bring you guys up to speed on some things. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably will already know all of this. But if you don't, then this is news to you. So, okay, where do I begin? This is going to be a little bit of a sad video yet again. Guys, when it rains, it pours sometimes, I swear. But it does have a somewhat happy ending, okay? So stick around till the end of the video for the good part. Okay, so if you watched my Twin Tuesday video with Maisie, which was 2 videos ago, you'll know that my uncle had passed away on May 2nd, same day as Riley's anniversary of his death. And last Tuesday, it was the visitation for him. So he had chosen to be cremated, and he chose not to have a funeral service or anything. He did not want anything big. He did not want people to fuss. He did not want people to have to worry about setting up a funeral and all that stuff. So he chose to just have his ashes in an urn at the funeral parlor with some pictures of him, and just have a 2-hour visitation where people could mix and mingle and share their memories of him together, like in conversation. So we went for that, and it was really nice. And actually, I learned something about my Uncle Ron that I did not know. And it was actually news to all of us. We never knew about this. That back in 1993, he got an award for bravery, because he used to be a cop. And apparently this award was for something that took place in 1991. And he was involved in like a high-speed chase between the cops and a robber. And they were pursuing the guy, trying to get him. And they ended up at a standoff with him, and the robber was shooting at my uncle and his fellow police officers, and all this stuff. So anyways, all that to say, he persisted, and they did end up capturing the robber. So he got a bravery award for that. And apparently he just is such a humble person, He did not want anyone to know about it. He would not even let my aunt hang the award in their home. And so now that he has passed, my aunt was like, oh, it's coming out now. We're bringing it to the visitation so everyone can know. And it's going up in our apartment. So, or in our condo. So, there's that. So that was pretty awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't get to speak with my aunt as much as I had hoped. Just because there were so many people there that were wanting to talk to her, and she was trying to get around to everyone. But when we first got there, I think I was the first one that went up to her to give her a hug. I gave her a big hug. She and I hugged long and hard, and we were getting emotional. And I gave my condolences and everything like that. And then we kind of went our ways to mix and mingle. And then before we left, we talked for like maybe 5-10 minutes towards the end before we left. And then my mom and her other brother, my Uncle Chris, and his children, and Alex and we all went out to dinner, afterwards. So that was nice. And wow, this actually works. It works. It's a little big in the neckline, but it works. Yay. So she can wear that to the party, to the Peter Pan Day. Perfect. Beautiful. So I can utilize it. And I was a little, because these sleeves might not have worked with her cloth shoulders anyway. So that works out really well. And I will end up getting something for her feet, I think. But anyways, let's chat. Anyways, so that was the visitation. And then we came to find out the next night. So Tuesday was the visitation, and Wednesday night, my mom got a message from my cousin, and it was not good. I was shocked to hear this. So just a few hours after the end, like the visitation ended at 3, but some of us were still around at like 3:30. But I think everyone left by 3:30. So I guess it was that evening, late that evening, my aunt started to be in a lot of pain. Now, again, if you watched that video 2 videos ago where I spoke about my uncle passing, I had mentioned that my aunt had been struggling with health problems the last few years as well, because her kidney that she had got from a kidney transplant many years ago is now failing, and she needs to get another kidney transplant. And throughout all of this thing with her kidneys failing, she's been in and out of the hospital with reoccurring blood infections and other kinds of infections. And then she had, 2 years ago, she had a cancer spot come up on her head that they had to remove and give her radiation and all this stuff. And so the goal was for her to get back on the transplant list by the end of this year, because that would mark 2 years cancer free, which is what they wanted before putting her on the list. So, so with that said, that's what we were kind of waiting for. And my aunt seemed to be doing a lot better in the last few months. The dialysis seemed to be helping. She was back to being able to walk, because for the longest time she was very weak and couldn't even walk. Like, we almost thought we were going to lose her 2 years ago, or so, however long ago it was. I think it was during COVID when she was like really sick. But she pulled through, and things seemed to be okay and doing well with her. And she was back to walking. She was able to drive herself again. And my uncle had actually gone out and gotten her a brand new car, like the specific car that she's been wanting, because he wanted to make sure she was all set when he passed away, so that she would have a car that she can drive to her appointments and everything. So, we were hopeful. But all of a sudden, like I said, late that night after the visitation, she was rushed to the hospital in severe pain. And it turns out she had a perforated bowel, and they took her in for emergency surgery on the Wednesday morning. Like, this is like the morning after the visitation. And unfortunately, because of her health conditions, because apparently she had some other conditions that I wasn't aware of until then, but because of all her health stuff, they ran into complications during the surgery. And they were unable to complete the surgery, so they actually left her open and put her on life support. And their hope was that give her like 48 hours to kind of like hopefully stabilize enough that they could complete the surgery. So that would have taken us to Friday morning. So Friday morning, they said that they were more than willing to do the surgery. However, there could be a good chance that she wouldn't make it through the surgery. And if she made it through the surgery, she would have a very long recovery road ahead, and would actually be worse off medically after the surgery than she was prior to the surgery, which was not good news. Now, with her being on life support, it was up to my cousin to make decisions. Thankfully, because of all the health problems that her parents had gone through over these years, like with my uncle's cancer, my aunt's stuff. They had had many, many talks about what each one of them wanted for end of life kind of stuff. And my aunt had basically said that in a situation like this, she would not, want to go forward. And so my cousin was aware of that and wanted to respect her wishes. Because the reality is that, my aunt would be completely on her own. My uncle's gone. And so if she has this like really long, grueling recovery ahead, who is going to take care of her? Like, her daughter and her daughter's wife, they had already missed, tons of work since my uncle passed. They can only miss so much work. Obviously, they have, they have to work. So, yeah, so basically just, they were aware of my aunt's wishes. And since she, was on life support, they made the very difficult decision to not move forward with the surgery and let my aunt go. And so my aunt apparently passed peacefully and quickly on Friday afternoon. So I received a message from my cousin Friday evening to let us know about her passing. So that was quite a shock to everyone, to lose both my uncle and my aunt, who both of them were so special to me. I loved them dearly. To lose them both within a matter of 2 weeks is just unfathomable. It really is just like, I don't know if it's even fully 100% hit me yet. I had a really good cry when my uncle passed away. And I've cried a little bit since my aunt passed away, but I think it's just, I'm sure I'm going to break down at some point in the coming days over my aunt, but I feel like it just hasn't fully sunk in because like I just saw her on Tuesday at, well, a week today. Like I'm filming this on a Tuesday, and so it was exactly a week ago that I saw her and I hugged her and talked to her. Like, and the fact that 3 days after I saw her, like that was like she passed away. Like it's just not fully registering with me because it's just like, how can this happen? And my heart, again, my heart breaks for my cousin because she's lost her sister, she lost her dad, and now she's lost her mom. And I just don't even, like, I don't even know how she has the strength. Like, I think I would be an absolute mess. But she has a very good support system with her wife, her mother-in-law, and other family. So I'm sure it's going to be like a long road, but she is, in my opinion, handling everything like a champ. I mean, now she's having to deal with everything, going through her parents' wills, going through, her parents' belongings, and like figuring out what to do with all the paperwork and everything. Like, that's a lot for a 35-year-old to go through. And I don't know, my heart breaks for her. But since I had, shared a little bit with you about my uncle when he passed, I'd like to share a little bit about my aunt, and why I loved her so much and she was so special. So my Aunt Julie, she was one of the calmest people I've ever met in my life. She was so calm. It was unbelievable. I mean, I feel like my Uncle Ron was too. Like, I don't think I ever really saw my Uncle Ron mad or yelling or anything like that. Now, apparently my aunt had told my mom that my Uncle Ron could have a temper sometimes, but I never saw it. But my Aunt Julie, as far as I know, was like such a level-headed, calm person. Her demeanor just put you at ease. She was just so relaxed, calm. She was very wise, very smart lady. Always sharing, you know, wisdom with us, and just such a beautifully kind, loving, calm demeanor. And so again, I'm going to say, like, before she had kids, like I said, her and my uncle, you know, they would do things with me. And I remember once going to see, now I don't know if I had just gone to see this just with my Aunt Julie, just the two of us, or if it was both her and my uncle. But I remember going to see Mary Poppins at the movie theater, and at that time the movie theaters had a merchandise booth, and so I fell in love so much with the movie that afterwards my aunt bought me the soundtrack from the souvenir booth or whatever it was. And of course that's going back in the 80s, so it was a cassette for a cassette player. But she bought me the Mary Poppins soundtrack, and I learned all the songs and sang them all the time because, you know, me and singing. And I actually, if you go to my Throwback Thursday playlist, you will hear some of me singing Mary Poppins as a kid. So thank you, Aunt Julie, for introducing me to Mary Poppins. And my aunt always loved children. She worked with children. She was an early childhood educator. She worked in daycares initially. And I actually recall at one point when I had stayed at her house one day or overnight or something, I recall her taking me to her daycare center or something like that. I don't know if it was the daycare center she worked at or not, or if it was just like a community drop-in center. It's really hard to remember because I was very, very young. But I remember going, and there's like a gymnasium, and we were like bouncing around like basketballs. I was playing basketball. I could be wrong, but I feel like my cousins were born at that point. They were very, very young, and they came with us too. But anyway, she worked in daycare for I don't know how many years. And then for a while, I believe she had a daycare out of her home for a little bit when she first had her children. And then I think it was once they started school that she started working in the school board, I believe. And anyways, she ended up for many, many years, and I would say like the majority of her career ended up being in the school board. And she was working with special needs children, especially she had a lot of autistic students, and she absolutely loved her job and had such a huge impact on the staff and the children that she worked with. And she always used to like share with us stories about some of her favorite students and everything like that. And it just, you know, so I really think like part of her inspired me to become an early childhood educator. and you know, it rubbed off on me. She was always planning activities just like I do. You know, like when I was younger and I would go stay over at her place or visit at her place for a day, she would set up like little arts and craft activities, very similar to what I do now with my nanny kids. And, you know, oh, she had like the original Barbie, you know, like the Barbie from, I don't know when Barbie initially came out. I don't know if it was the 50s or the 60s. I want to say it was maybe the 60s, but I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But she had the original Barbie, the vintage one. And, had a case for it with all these clothes and everything. And so I used to enjoy playing with that when I would go visit or stay over. And I recall, like, I don't know if this happened more than once, but I have a very vivid memory of one time of this. And I believe it was when I had slept over and she was fixing my hair the next morning and she was putting a ponytail in my hair for me. And I just remember her being like so careful and gentle because she was so afraid of like pulling my hair and upsetting me or hurting me. And like I had had my hair done by my mom and my grandma and stuff like that. And they were never like that gentle like that. But she was like super gentle in brushing all the knots out of my hair because I had long hair as a little girl. And putting my hair in the ponytail was like, she's so gentle that I literally got goosebumps. And like she was just so perfect at like doing that. I loved when it, like she would do my hair. It was so like just relaxation goals. But that's, like I said, like she was gentle and calm and caring and kind. And so yeah, and then of course, like I said, they took me with them to Disneyland when I was in, I think I was in grade 7 or grade 8. And so that was just, you know, great memories with all of us. With Brittany, with her sister Jessica, and my aunt and my uncle and I going together to Disney World. Yeah, Disney World, not Disneyland. It was Disney World in Florida. So just beautiful, and she's just another incredible person. And her and my uncle were high school sweethearts. They met in high school. They were each other's first loves, and they were married for 40 years. So all the crap that they went through, you know, all the hardships they went through with my cousin's health, my cousin Brittany passing away, my aunt's health, my uncle's health, like all the stuff that they went through. They always stayed so positive, and they never changed. They were always still kind and gentle and caring, and still always thinking of others and doing for others. And it's just incredible. Like, you hear so many times, you know, just in and of itself, when parents lose a child, you often hear that they end up divorcing, you know, because they just don't know how to manage their grief together as a couple. But these two, you know, my aunt and my uncle were a true testament to, you know, staying together, working through things together, getting through things together. They were each other's rocks, and they stood the test of time. And yeah, I don't know, like, it's just crazy that only 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks after my uncle passed away, my aunt goes. It's just crazy to me. So anyways, that's what's been going on. And now I've made it through without crying. But I don't know if I'm going to make it through the next part without crying. Okay, I think I'm going to try these sandals on her while I wrap up this video with the good news. So my aunt and my uncle were cat people. They had 2 cats. One was named Katie, and she passed away a few years ago now, I think. She was the first cat they got after Brittany passed away. Oh, these fit her perfectly. They're a little long. Her toes don't stick out, but otherwise they're okay. And then I forget how long after they got Katie, they got another cat named Maya. Funny enough, I'm changing Maya here. That was totally not planned, but their names are spelled differently. This Maya here that I'm changing is spelled M-A-Y-A. Their cat Maya is spelled M-I-A. So anyways, they still had Maya. Maya was very much attached to my uncle, and Katie was more attached to my aunt. So needless to say, now that both my aunt and uncle are gone, their cat is all alone. Now, of course, with everything going on, you know, my cousin and her wife have been coming and going from the condo many times to go through the parents' stuff and everything like that. So they're there every day to feed her, pet her, all that stuff. But my cousin has 2 big dogs that take up a lot of time. Maya is afraid of dogs, so my cousin unfortunately cannot take Maya. So, when was it? Saturday night, I got a message from my cousin saying that they're trying to figure out what to do with Maya. They do not want to take her to a shelter. So they're looking for, you know, someone to take her. And she was like, I don't know how you feel about possibly having another cat, because of Riley and everything. But we just thought, out of everyone, we immediately thought of you guys first, because they felt that Alex and I were the best ones for this job, because we know cats so well. And so they wanted to know if we would like to adopt Maya. I got really emotional at first, because I was just, I don't know, it's just a lot. And I was mostly more concerned with Alex, because Alex all along has been the one that was like, I don't want to ever get another cat, because all he thinks about is how hard it was at the end of Riley's life, and he doesn't want to have to go through all the medical stuff and going through losing another cat and having to put them down and blah, blah, blah. Like, he just sees like the sad stuff about it. So I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I will have to talk to him. But the reason I got emotional is because when Riley passed away, I started watching this YouTube channel I came across of a pet psychic. And I don't usually believe in stuff like that, but at the time it was just kind of like, even if I didn't fully believe it, in the moment I needed to believe it, because it brought me comfort when we lost Riley. So I used to watch this channel a lot, and she would talk about the signs that our animals give us and things like that. And she said that, you know, when an animal passes away, they will start to arrange for another animal to come into your life. and they will either send a sign of when it's time to get another animal, or they may directly bring that animal to you and like literally drop it in front of you. And so when she asked me about Maya, and funny enough, before she even asked me, when my aunt passed away, my immediately thought was, oh my gosh, Maya's gonna be all alone. Poor thing. Like, she was so attached to her fur parents, and like now they're gone. Poor thing, right? And I was wondering what was going to happen. So when she asked me, I just was like, I don't know, like I was overcome with emotion of like happiness, in that it was like, okay, Riley is giving me that sign. This is the sign. And on top of that, it's like a gift from my aunt and uncle to me. And it would be like having a little piece of them with us. And I was like, also, like, I don't want Maya to go to just some like random person. Because, you know, my cousin had said, like, no pressure. If you're not ready for another cat, totally understand. Like, it's totally fine. We will try and find someone else. Like, they were not going to take her to a shelter, but they were going to definitely like try and find a home on their own for her. But who knows who that would be. And I was like, I think she needs to stay in the family. So I thought about it that night. I needed to process my feelings around it. But I felt like we should do this. So the next morning, I talked to Alex, and he was surprised, hesitant. He said the same kind of stuff, like, I don't want to go through all this, because Maya is almost 14 years old. So she is an older cat. However, and she has a little bit of arthritis, not too bad. A little bit of arthritis that she has some medications for. But it's actually very easy medication to give. Apparently you just put it in her food and that's it. So even easier than the stuff that, like the pills that we had to try and give Riley and everything. But other than that, the vet claims that she's as healthy as like a 5-year-old cat. So, anyway, so we were talking over everything, and he was just like, I don't want to have to like go through what we did with Riley, where we had to do all these needles and this and that and all this stuff. It's like so much. And I was like, no, we will not have to worry about that, because my aunt and uncle's wishes for their cat Maya is that if her health ever got to a level that it required more than just medication that you can pop in her food, like needles and stuff like that, that their wishes are to not do those types of treatments, and to just watch for the signs of when it's time to put her down, and that's it. And so like I assured him there would be none of all of that. We wouldn't have to deal with all of that. We would just have to keep an eye on her quality of life until it's time. So, he took about a day or so to think it over. I told him personally, I feel like we should do it because I want to keep her in the family, and all the reasons that I already told you guys. And he agreed with me. He understood. So on June 3rd, we are going to be bringing home Maya, this cute white cat with some little gray markings on her head. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen pictures of her. They are not pictures that I took. They are pictures that my uncle and I think cousin took over the years. But we will be going to pick her up June 3rd. And we specifically decided to choose that instead of bringing her home now, because this week we're going to be out of the apartment a lot. We have work, and then Thursday and Friday we're doing stuff for our anniversary. And then Saturday we're going to a family thing. Sunday we have another family thing, and then we work next week. So we were like, we did not want to bring her into a whole new environment that she has to adjust to and then leave her alone most of the day, because she's already getting lonely at the condo. So we decided it's best to bring her June the 3rd, because I will be off work. The family I work for is going on vacation, so I will have a full week off. So when you take that and you include the weekend days and then the fact that I have Mondays off on the week that I go back to work, I will essentially have 10 days with Maya here in the apartment, so that she'll have someone with her. She won't be alone, and it'll help with the transition. So that's what we decided to do. And I'm surprised I've gotten this far without bawling, because let me tell you, I have had some emotional moments over it. I'm excited. I'm happy to be bringing Maya home, but it's also bittersweet, because it's another reminder that my aunt and uncle are gone. And it's a little strange thinking of another cat being in here other than Riley. Although we did have my other cat Sneaker here for a little while. At one point he visited, which Riley did not like. But they ended up eventually becoming buddies right before we had to take Sneaker back to my mom's. So, you know, it's just been really an emotional 3 weeks. We're at 3 weeks now of all of this grief, and now happiness with bringing Maya, and it's just a lot, guys. It's a lot. So anyways, guys, I will definitely be documenting Maya's first day with us. And you'll get to meet her in 2 weeks. So, or less than 2 weeks at this point. So yeah, anyways, Maya is ready for her Dolly Day next week. Her Peter Rabbit Day. I can't think. My brain, guys, is so fried. I have not been sleeping well with everything going on. It's just a lot mentally and emotionally. I can only imagine how much worse it is for my cousin and her wife. But anyways, my thoughts and prayers are with them for sure. So anyway, but I'm just also really thankful that they asked me to take Maya. I'm really, really thankful. I think I really need it. I've been, honestly, guys, I have been very, very depressed the last 2 years, which is another reason why I'm not making videos as much anymore. I've been on the struggle bus big time, emotionally and mentally, ever since we lost Riley. And it's not just the loss of Riley, it's other stuff going on, but mostly, like, I think just the loss of Riley, the apartment's never been the same. And I think it's time, and obviously Riley and my aunt and uncle think it's time for us to bring another cat in here, and I'm hoping it's gonna help me mentally and emotionally to have that companionship again. And I'm just happy that we can give her a loving home and keep her in the family so that she's not, you know, shipped off somewhere else that we don't know, really. Okay, so I've rambled on long enough. I want to give you a little close-up because I don't know how well you can see the decor on this. So here is the outfit. You can see Jemima Puddle Duck. And you can see her adorable little sandals there. They fit her really nice. So she's all summery and ready to party with her aunties and her cousins next week. So, anyways, guys, if you made it to the end of this video, because I have no idea how long this video is going to be now. It was just a lot to talk about. But I hope you enjoyed it despite the sad topic. But the happy ending is we've got a new cat coming to us. So I can't wait to have you guys meet her. I don't know. I mean, you know, it's just, I have to try and put out of my mind that she is a different cat and has her own personality. And, you know, we don't know what she'll be like here. She's going to need some adjustment time, I'm sure. So I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I don't know if she's going to be the type to barge in on my videos like Riley did or not. I don't know. Or she'll just kind of like go off and do her own thing while I video. But we'll see. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.